Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, I uh, I have been looking into quite a bit when it looks like a show is doing really well, and the next thing you know, there's some things that kind of just show up and have glaring, weird things about them, in my opinion. And one of those glaring, weird things for me this week in Demon Slayer was the fact that we got no information about just what the heck was going on to this Spider Woman mom. Like, to think that they were going to make us feel some type of way about her, in the grand scheme of like actually feeling bad for her, was surprising. And here's why: because there's an instance in this whole thing where we can look at our character and practically know exactly what they're all feeling and what they're all thinking at certain moments, right? And at this moment of time, we see our main guy go into such a dark like state, that I don't believe he should have. Um, I don't know if he should have been able to think like logically, you know. Um, but with him thinking logically, it almost just goes to show you how much like importance he has when it comes down to not giving in to his like inner desires to go off on this girl who just um, he put him in a position where he really wanted her dead, right? He really wanted to find this person who could have done this and absolutely wreck him. And because of that, it felt like we were going to see quite a bit of, like, oh man, we're going to probably see this person lose their life in the most dirtiest way possible, you know. It just felt like something crazy was coming, and then next thing you know, it doesn't it doesn't really translate like that because he's such a good guy. Um he's so courteous in the case of like looking into what people may have suffered through, looking into, just the fact that whatever he's doing to this person, they could have gone through worse or doing this for other reasons than reasons that they want to do it for. There's a lot of things that clearly he saw at that moment of time before doing this attack that he does, which it's actually very, very beautiful and kind of him. Instead of taking his sword and supposedly cutting in a manner to make someone suffer, to feel like straight pain and stuff like that, he decided to use his most graceful, um, non-lethal, I guess, non-lethal feeling attack, I guess you can say. I don't know how you get cut and it feels good. Like, I don't know how you get cut and you're like, wow, that actually is exactly how I wanted to be cut, like, I don't know. But with the name of the attack like being like this like graceful blessings or something like that, it was very obvious that they wanted to, send her off well. And we only really get a little bit of an inkling of what she's been dealing with all of her life when, we kind of get a little glimpse into her sight, into what, the father was doing to her, what the kids were practically witnessing and thinking it was funny at times and not really caring what happens overall. All these types of things are clear to me that, she was alone uh, in all this. Like, she had no real speak in anything with these demons around. Just by the way the son kind of shows up and says what he says, like, "Oh, I'll tell dad," and that pretty much puts her in a panic to then fail even harder than she already was. kind of give you even more of a clue as to the lifestyle she's been living for so long. And it's those types of people that I truly, truly want to see dead, um, including if you're just doing it because you know you can and you can get away with it. Stuff like that really gets to me. And seeing that this character was suffering, even though, they're part of like the same keen, like they're part of the same, they're all demons, not only demons, they're also spiders, like they're all got the same kind of webbing supposedly. And this might even like be her actual family that she created with this man. And this is how she is being treated afterwards, after giving, life to multiple people. But then it also feels like it isn't, because it feels like the demons have such a way with doing things in their own, speed and forcing things on others. So it almost seems like this could be a way to show us that regardless of what you do or what you try to do, even when you become a powerful demon, there still is someone that could be just as powerful, if not more powerful, to then make it so you can't do anything you want to do or anything you would like to do. So, um, and that goes for all the number 12s, right? Like, even the people who are 12, once they supposedly couldn't gain any more strength, the person who gave them that number in the first place comes through and like strips it away from them, right? So it's a really weird overall thing just seeing how this is all happening. Holy crap, I'm getting a lot of material. um, but at the same time, it makes sense because this is a world of the demons that we don't understand. This is like how they act, how they do things, and we never got an understanding as to why they treat each other with such like brutality and stuff. So maybe that will be explained later on. I'm not really sure. But with that being said, seeing our boar guy getting more and more comfortable with our main character is pretty funny to watch. Um, I think he literally said he was giddy today this week's episode. So yeah, our guy actually is happy with the situation that he seems to be in, and because of that, it's only right to believe that they're going to probably continue that. They're probably going to continue to make us see him in a different light and enjoy his company and stuff like that, because he was super helpful this week's episode. Actually, not super helpful. He was the helpful one when it came down to actually locating where they were. And sure, Tinjiro could have started sensing them later on because the wind had shifted and it wasn't like completely getting all mucked up. So he could have found them sooner or later, but with the way that they kind of give this spiritual like awareness and sensing to the boar guy, it just didn't seem like an appropriate time to give it to him until they are already on their way to getting to the corporates. So I don't mind them doing that because there's got to be a reason for some of these characters, right? And now we know that if anything bad starts to happen in the grand scheme of like he can't sense things because there's too much stuff blocking him, we have another person who's the sensor, and we also have somebody who is just ridiculously powerful in when he goes unconscious. So we have them doing interesting roles. It's just the fact of now when do these roles get played, or like do we develop are they going to develop the guy who has to go unconscious to fight into a person who can fight while he's conscious, like there's still so much they can actually do with the show, and that's what actually gives me um, even more hope for me to love and watch this show and tell more people about it, even though everybody who knows about it right now that I talk to are like all the people that I want to know about it, so I'm not even there's no one I really gotta reach out and tell this to anymore. Like, oh, this show is amazing. Like, they know already, and they're getting into it just as much as I am, and hearing their opinions and seeing how some of my opinions don't coincide with theirs. It's always nice to see, or to at least hear that, and then get to look into other people's perspective to be like, oh man, yeah, you're right. Like, this might actually occur, and I didn't even expect that, or in the grand scheme, it was. I thought they were going to get bodied by these spiders, and that's why they were calling in the heads, like the big people, to come in and handle all this. But seemingly, they might be able to handle some of this, including what I was saying at the beginning is the Spider Girl who he shows like compassion to and doesn't do anything like I guess over the top to her. She breaks the necks of like people she already captured. So these dolls she's already has under her control, and instead of just letting them go and bringing out her new weapon or stronger weapon, she absolutely just snaps and breaks their necks heartlessly. And that right there was the straw that broke the back of our main character. In such a fact that even the boar guy did not want to make jokes. He did not want to be in that situation with him. He just wanted him to be able to vent out his frustration on whatever he wanted to vent it out on, and it just not be him. Because even our boar guy was shaking with fear, seemingly, after noticing the the tone or like the atmosphere that our main character was giving off just after seeing the next snap. And that was pretty awesome because it just goes to show you that there is a side to him that we literally have never been able to see because he's such a nice guy, because he does not want to go overboard and lose himself with the power that he already possesses. So it's just getting hype. It's just getting so freaking hype, man. I know I've talked quite a bit about Demon Slayer and how great and hype it is and all that already, but if you're watching this stuff the same time I is, you already know. You already know, and I shouldn't even have to say it anymore. But some people still are on the fence about this show, even though it has so many episodes, which, lucky for them, they get to just binge watch one of the greatest shows out right now. I mean, there's a lot of other great shows out right now, but this show is definitely up there in the quality of the story and the quality of the actual character progression and stuff like that. It's way high. So to think that anybody is watching it and being like, yeah, this show's kind of trash, like, I would love to see it. I would love to see that person and understand why he thinks it's trash and stuff like that because that's a perspective I can't understand. But yeah, other than that, my anime people, I definitely am about to drop one more video outside of this one, which is a Fate Zero type of world, which we even got a little bit of a flashback to one of my favorite characters anyway in the Fate Zero series. So that was pretty awesome, and I hope you guys definitely stick around to see more videos from ya boy. If not, thank you for just watching this in general. It means a lot that you guys just support me in any way, shape, or form, in that way of being likes, that way being just views in general. It don't matter. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to talk to you guys in the next one. So with that being said, peace.